Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is where you get to ask a house cleaning question. I get to help you find an answer. Today's question comes from a house cleaner who's sick, and she wants to know, should I call and cancel on my clients, or should I go ahead and just try to work through being sick at their house? She says, my boss is counting on me, and she expects that I'm going to show up to work the houses that we have today. If I don't, it's going to put my team partner in a bind because she won't be able to clean the houses all by herself. What am I supposed to do? Okay, that is a fair question, and here's what it comes down to. When you're sick, you transmit germs to the people whose houses you're cleaning. I know the intent is that you're there to clean the house, but when you're sick, you transfer germs to that house. So it's possible that a perfectly well family could be sick because you came to their house to clean, right? So that's super crazy. Now, on day one, when you do your initial walkthrough with a customer, you need to explain, if you're sick, I need you guys to cancel on me, and be really emphatic about it, because here's the problem. If you go to a customer's house and they are sick, you're probably going to get sick too. Okay? You're meandering through the house, you're cleaning things, you're moving around, you're touching everything. And even though you have gloves on and you might even have a face mask on, you're still going to pick up some of those germs either through your eyes or breathing or in your ears or scratching your face or whatever it is. You're going to transfer those germs and you might get sick. If you get sick, this is not you just missing one customer's house. This is you missing all of the customers' houses while you're sick. This could throw you out for an entire week. Now, the problem is this. A lot of the house cleaning accounts that we have are on a bi-weekly basis, meaning I do this set of customers this week and I do that set of customers next week. So if I miss an entire week worth of customers, I can't bump them into next week, because I already have all of those time slots filled. And so I don't have anywhere to move all of those people to. So what happens is, instead of cleaning their house every other week, now I'm cleaning their house every third week or whatever. I've got to wait until I come back to do their house again, because if I missed a period in between, instead of every 2 weeks, now it's going to be 4 weeks between house cleanings. Does that make sense? So then what happens is, the house is like super dirty when you come back. And it's not just one set of customers, it's all of the customers that you missed that week. So instead of working maybe an 8-hour day, you're going to end up working like 10 or 12-hour days trying to hurry and fill in all the gaps of all the people who now haven't had their houses clean for an entire month. So if you're coming back every other week and you miss that week because you're sick, it really throws your schedule off. So I can't speak enough for the fact that as a house cleaner, number one, you cannot get sick. You cannot get sick. It is not an option. Yeah, it inconveniences your customers and your clients. It inconveniences your boss. And guess what? It inconveniences you, because in house cleaning, you don't get paid for the time that you don't work. So if you're out of work for an entire week, that's an entire week's worth of money that you have coming in that you're not going to get paid. Nobody pays you for staying at home and being sick. The customers and clients don't write you checks and go, oh yeah, you're sick, here's the money. They don't do that. They pay you for a service rendered. And so what we have to really take care of is that you, as a person, your whole physical being, you are your biggest asset in this business. And so you have to take extra care that you don't get sick. So for me, I tell my customers, I cannot get sick. It is not an option for my business. So if you are sick, you must call me and cancel. And some people charge a cancellation fee, some people don't. I don't, because if somebody's sick, I don't want to penalize them for having been sick. If I get sick, I'm going to have to call and cancel on them, and I don't want them to expect me to give them some kind of remuneration for that either. Does that make sense? So if you get sick, everything kind of crumbles. So for me, and this is just going to great extremes, for me personally, I drink apple cider vinegar every single day, and I mix it with lemon juice. So I take a water bottle, hang on. I have a water bottle here, and I drink about this much off the top of it. And then I fill about that much with apple cider vinegar, and I fill the rest of it with lemon juice. And I just shake it up, and it is the nastiest drink. that you can ever possibly imagine. You would think that after drinking it for years that you would build some kind of immunity to it, that you would get used to it, that you would get accustomed to the taste. I don't. It's the nastiest drink I've ever had. But it completely purifies my system. It cleans my sinuses, and it keeps me from catching cold. Now, I have not called in sick in 14 years. So there's something to be said for that. Now, I also send it to my husband for work in his lunch. I know you're going to think that's so nasty that I do that to my husband, but you know what? He hasn't called in sick once in 21 years. So there's something to be said for it. It works. I'm telling you, it works. It's a nasty drink, but if you are a house cleaner and you get sick, your business falls apart. So trust me, there are things to be said about taking care of yourself. But create an open communication with your clients right up front that if they get sick, they do cancel on you. So for today, if you're homesick today, stay home and get better. Because if you drag this on, this is going to go on for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're just going to be drained and the flu and you're not going to feel well. And then you give it to your clients and then they give it back to you. And it's just this never ending story. So if you're sick, stay at home and get well. If you are well, do not go into a house where there's sickness. I've showed up and people are like, well, I've got my kids in the other room and they're sick. So no, I'm going to leave. I'm not staying if you're sick. That's a rule from day one. Those are my rules. I'd rather not have your money for one house than lose all the money for all the houses for the entire week. So that's it for today. If you like this tip, please pass it along, share it, tweet it, repin it, repost it, whatever you do on social media. If you have a question, head on over to askahousecleaner.com, ask us your questions, and we will be happy to answer them. Until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.